Well, may I thank you all in putting your signatures to the document. It's a great pleasure for me to be here and to see so many familiar faces in Washington. And I very much appreciate what must have been for you a very, very early breakfast. I concur with everything that has been said, and would see, if any more emphasis was needed, I would see that the implementation of our roadmaps, however we actually describe them, the implementation of our roadmaps as key to progressing the relationship. We see that, as indeed you do, as driving education, science and publishing. And as we've heard, these roadmaps are not narrow. They cover energy, food, health, the environment, sustainability, water, but importantly need to place the chemical sciences within the wider context. I would just make three fundamental points. One is that many of the issues, many of the challenges that we face cannot be solved by a single organization or a single country, but in fact demand the very international collaboration that we're striving for and which is recognized in the signing of this Memorandum of Understanding. The second important point is that, and I know we've discussed this many times before, it's important that we look for tangible outcomes. We need to focus on making sure we deliver what is needed by our societies, our countries, and the wider community. And the third point is one which I think is reflected again in many discussions we've had in the past. It's somehow making sure that the information that we gather, the decisions that we make, are communicated well to the wider public. For too long, perhaps, we've talked as scientists to scientists and probably reached a very good agreement over the way ahead, but we need to recognize that there are other parts of the community, be they politicians, the man in the street, and indeed the even wider public, that need to be convinced of why we're doing things so that they can actually buy into those. And I think that probably reflects much of what we're going to have to do in the future. It is a question of getting other people to buy into what we want to do. And this memorandum, I'm sure, will help us in that. To conclude, I'd say that we've known each other for a long time, and I know Judy talked about, or implied that we obviously need to be green. I still think that in order to make this a memorandum a realizable document, we'll be gathering a few air miles as we each go across the Atlantic, but we'll look at that very carefully. I, in conclusion, want to say how much I'm looking forward to this. There are many aspects of the memorandum and the topics that we're going to cover, and I think Dave would share the same view.
Absolutely.
That we personally are very attached to, be it energy, be it water, or whatever. And therefore I'm particularly keen and excited in seeing how we can take this forward to achieve what I and I'm sure all of us regard as probably the most important goals for the future. Thank you very much.
Well, I would like to begin by thanking everybody for being there at your hour, and for everyone here being here really before the crack of dawn. It is wonderful too that we have a wonderful staff on both sides of the Atlantic who have made all of these technical arrangements, and I think it really has worked beautifully. Today is a defining milestone in the history of our organizations and our long-standing and really warm relationship. Both organizations face extraordinary challenges, but together we will be able to face these challenges better than if we did it alone. I am delighted that the extensive exchanges between the Royal Society of Chemistry and the American Chemical Society have culminated in this important Memorandum of Understanding. The signing of this agreement is evidence of the continued commitment of both organizations collaboratively tackling the challenges facing our world. We are fully aware that the world relies on science and technology to tackle global challenges, and we stand firmly behind the conviction that chemistry can and must play an important role in improving people's lives. I am convinced that the members of both the RSC and the ACS are uniquely positioned to contribute their knowledge, expertise, and enthusiasm to solving these challenges. It's increasingly evident to all of us that science is a global endeavor. It is therefore imperative that we transcend our local boundaries and collaborate more efficiently to maximize the limited resources at our disposal. I'm certain that, and having heard this, that the RSC is eager as ACS to proceed with the implementation of this agreement. For me, it has been an enormous pleasure working with Dave Garner and Richard Pike and all the staff of the RSC, and I look forward, as Richard says, to continued face-to-face collaborations. I am confident that this agreement will enable us to make a very strong contribution to ensuring sustainability. So with that, I thank everyone for being here, and I wish you all a very good lunch and a good day. And I think we have concluded our ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you very much.